Chris says I look like Superman when I sit like this. So this is how I'm going to start out every video from now on.
Pondering.
No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, hello. This is Falene again. I want to talk about keeping information organized when you are dealing with paperwork for who knows whatever it is that you have to deal with paperwork for. Because having a kid with autism, you acquire a lot of paperwork and you're forced to fill out a lot of paperwork. And usually everybody wants the same things. I was lucky enough that I had a friend who sat me down and talked to me about this whole paperwork process, and she gave me some tips for how to keep myself organized. So I just want to pass on to you what I've learned to help keep me organized. It's really not that hard to do. And it's been such a huge lifesaver and a time saver for me as I've gone through and filled out paperwork and had to keep track of paperwork. These are what I call my child information binders. Dun 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 dun. This is Gavin when he was 3. Oh, he's so cute. I didn't really have a place to put their yearly pictures afterwards, so I just started stacking them up inside this binder. So, you know, this has got the little sleeves so you can slide a paper inside of it, and it's got the things so that I could put his name on the side too if I wanted to be super organized, but I haven't gotten to that yet. And then I have this paper that he got from school that I just stuck in the back to help me realize whose paperwork is where. The other reason I like keeping a photo of my child with each binder is that when I take this binder with me to go and talk to people like the school or to doctors or anything like that, whether he's there or not, it helps keep everybody focused on why we're there and who we're talking about and what we're trying to accomplish. We are here to help Gavin, and that is why. And I usually walk into whatever meeting and say, oh yeah, you want to see what Gavin looked like when he was 3? Wasn't he so cute? We love him so much. So anyway, you wanted to cut his benefits? What? I try and keep it simple the way it's set up. So I'm going to try and show this to you guys. But I have these little folder dividers for each different section, and I have different sections for each binder. And then within the section, I have these little plastic sleeves that I can throw the papers into, so I don't have to punch a hole in them. The papers don't get worn out, especially things like your diagnosis papers or copies of birth certificates, things that are really important that you don't want to damage the paper. These little sleeves are super helpful for that. So let me just show you the different sections that I've got. So I've got medical and ID info, because everybody always wants this stuff. So the first sleeve has just got copies of ID information, copies of social security numbers, copies of birth certificates, all that kind of stuff. I have their shot record in this one as well. But then it's all just nice in this little sleeve so that I don't have to go searching around for it. When I've got a doctor's appointment or I've got an IEP meeting or I have to fill out paperwork and they want copies of all those things, it's all just right there. And then the next one I have just has a list about his current medications that he's taking. We only have one medication that we're managing, so you know, it's not really that big of a deal. But sometimes kids have multiple medications that they're managing, and my kids are school age now, so being able to have current information about their medication is really helpful. Also, any medical testing that goes on in there. And then the other thing I keep under medical and ID information is the diagnosis, because this is something that's going to be requested again and again and again and again by multiple agencies. So this sleeve contains Gavin's diagnosis and just like the short version of it, because they gave me a whole binder's worth of paperwork. So I just found the essential pages and keep them in here. So there's that section. So then the next one is just their school. It's changed from the preschool to the elementary school. It'll change to the middle school, to the high school, to wherever it goes. And in here, I keep the current copy of the IEP. So that way, when I go into the IEP meeting, I know what was on the last IEP. And so then when I need copies of the IEP for whatever it is that you're going to end up needing it, trust me, this is something that you're going to need quite frequently as well. So under school paperwork, I keep a copy of the IEP. And now that he's in elementary school, I've started keeping copies of his most recent report card as well. So if I go in and I have a parent-teacher conference, then I know how we were doing up until I get into, like the most recent information. Or if I have questions, then I can add that in there. If I have an empty sleeve, then I stick a note in there. Look, it says other school reports in case something else comes up. So that's there. And then there was another evaluation that was done by, this was back in preschool. Okay, so this isn't really relevant anymore. This was done a long time ago, but it's still in there. Next, this is the company that we go through for our ABA therapy, and so I have that sectioned off as well. This is a list of Gavin's current programs that he's doing through his therapy and this is really helpful for me when I go in to talk to his teachers so that we can discuss what he's currently working on, or what he's currently working on at home and what we could change it to instead. This is a working piece of paper so that I can cross things off, change it, add notes in there if the teacher's like he's really struggling with anxiety with test taking, things like that. Can we practice, taking tests? Okay, add practice taking tests on there. So that's that. So then I can also add other sections if I need to, if something else becomes relevant. I can take away information if I need to, but these binders, I have one for Gavin and I have one for Aiden. See, wasn't he cute when he was 3? Oh! And, it's basically the same kind of thing. It just makes it easier so that I know where I need to go to get the information I need quickly. So I don't have to stress out about finding it when I have to show up for a meeting. So they're both set up very similar. And I found these so helpful for these 2 boys that I set them up for my other 2 children as well. Obviously, they don't have as much paperwork that I have to deal with for them. But still, when I go to well child checks and our 5-year-old is starting kindergarten, he's going to start having school paperwork we have to keep track of. There's always paperwork. Always paperwork. Anyway, it just makes paperwork that much less painless. So anyway, I hope that you found this idea helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave those in the comment section and I'll try and get back to you as quickly as I can. If you have any other good ideas for helping to keep paperwork organized, I'm sure that everybody would love more tips on that because, I am not a stellar example of organization myself. I'm super proud that I've been able to keep a hold of these binders, but seriously, they have been very helpful. So anyway, again, please feel free to leave positive comments to help out other people. And if you've got good information that can help out somebody else, please feel free to let us know. But I hope you're having a good night and we'll talk to you later. And now I'll end.